Welcome to the explainer. Okay, so let's get right into it. You've built this amazing piece of code, right? A prototype that actually solves a real problem. But how do you get it from your laptop into the real world? We're going to break down that exact journey today. I mean, this is a huge one for any data professional, isn't it? Your script runs like a dream on your machine with your nice, clean sample data. It's fast, it's efficient, you feel like you're done. But that gap between a laptop and a live production system, it's massive. So how do we bridge it? To make this all feel real, we're going to follow a case study. We'll tag along with a data engineer at a fictional company we're calling Hungry Now. We'll see them take a simple script and, step by step, turn it into something their entire business relies on. So every great data product starts with just an idea, right? A proof of concept that's built to fix a specific business problem. And for Hungry Now, that problem was all about getting smarter with their recommendations. Here's the deal. Customers are browsing, they're adding stuff to their cart, and then they just leave. They're so close. The thinking is, if we can just offer them perfectly timed, location-based suggestions, maybe we can nudge them over the finish line and get them to actually complete the order. And the first version of this thing is beautifully simple. It's just a Python script. It grabs 1 month of data from their database, groups it up by time and postcode, and spits out the top 3 meals. Easy. And on a laptop, with that small slice of data, it works like an absolute charm. But now it's time to leave the cozy comfort of one developer's machine and head into the lab for a reality check. How does this simple script really behave when you throw the full weight of the company's data at it? And boom, reality hits. The expectation was, hey, it'll just work, maybe a little slower, but the reality is a system that's completely overwhelmed. When it's run against all of their historical data, it slows to a crawl, it eats up 90% of the memory, and all these hidden bottlenecks just pop up. The prototype is definitely not ready for prime time. And this brings us to the most important part of this whole journey: hardening the code. This is where we take that promising but pretty fragile script and we re-engineer it. We make it tough, reliable, and efficient enough for the real world. So, what do we even mean by hardening? It's not just about fixing a few bugs, it's about thinking through everything that could possibly go wrong at scale. Can it handle 10 times the traffic? What about 1 million users? Is it secure? Is the data quality guaranteed? Can we trust the output it gives us every single time? Okay, first up in the hardening process is refactoring. For the Hungry Now team, that meant swapping out the pandas library, which is great, don't get me wrong, but it does all its work on one machine, for something like PySpark. Think of it like going from a single chef trying to do everything to a whole kitchen team working in parallel. At the same time, that one big script gets broken down into clean, separate modules. One for getting the data, one for transforming it, and one for spitting out the result. But just having a powerful engine isn't enough. You need a safety net. And that's where automated testing comes in. You've got unit tests to check every little piece of logic, and, so important, you implement data contracts. You can think of a data contract like a quality inspector at the factory door. It defines exactly what the incoming data has to look like, so a bad batch of data can't break the entire assembly line. All right, so our code is now hardened, it's tested. Now it's time to build the automated factory where this whole process is going to live and run. We're not just running a script anymore. We're building a full-on production line. And this factory has some very specific tools. First, you package the whole application up using Docker. It's kind of like putting your entire assembly line with all its instructions into a standard shipping container. Then, a scheduler, like Apache Airflow, acts as the factory manager, telling the job to run every 4 hours, like clockwork. And finally, you have monitoring tools, like Prometheus and Grafana, which are basically the factory's control panel, giving you a live view of the system's health. So, the system is built, the factory is up and running. Now, for the nerve-wracking part. Actually releasing it to real customers. And you have to do this super carefully with a solid plan. So instead of just flipping a giant switch and hoping for the best, Hungry Now does what's called a canary rollout. They start small, a pilot in just 2 cities, and they watch the metrics like a hawk. Only when they feel confident do they expand it to more users. And then, finally, they roll it out to everyone. To actually run this thing day to day, the team needs a few key things. First, runbooks. Basically, a step-by-step guide for what to do when an alert goes off at 3 in the morning. Second, SLOs, service level objectives.
These are clear targets that define what good looks like, in black and white, like having a 99.5% job success rate. And finally, a CI/CD pipeline, which is just a safe, automated way to push out future updates.
And here's the thing, the launch isn't the end, not at all. It's the beginning of a feedback loop. Users love the feature, but they have an idea. Hey, why not recommend different foods based on the weather? And just like that, the cycle kicks off all over again, with a new prototype for version 2. So after all of that engineering work, what was the actual result? This, a 9% reduction in cart abandonment. Now, in a business like this, that is not just a number on a chart. That is a huge boost to the bottom line. It proves how valuable it is to go from a simple prototype to a rock-solid production system. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It connects a specific technical choice to a real business outcome. Swapping one technology for another and organizing the data in a smarter way led to this massive performance win, cutting the job time from 42 minutes down to just 6. That's what makes the whole system possible. At the end of the day, the real takeaway from the Hungry Now story is to think beyond that first script. The journey from a great idea to a really valuable data product is a deliberate process of hardening, automating, and operating carefully. The question isn't just, does my code work? It's, is it ready for the real world? How are you going to prepare your next great idea for that journey?